Good afternoon, everybody. It's Miss Morgan with the Williston Community Library, bringing you today's week 5 of the summer reading program. So today what we're going to do is we are going to make some stingrays out of coffee filters. So what you're going to need is your coffee filter. You may have got multiples because you can make more than one. You're going to want your watercolor paints. Something to put under your coffee filter, some paper towels or something, because they will bleed through, and then a cup of water and your paintbrush. All right, and some scissors and glue so that you can make the tail. So the first thing that you're going to do is you are going to decide if you want to fold your coffee filter in half and paint it that way both sides. Let me see if it'll look a little better with this. That way both sides will look the same. I know my colors are kind of faded here, but hopefully you can see it. But I folded mine in half, so both sides are exactly the same. Or you can go ahead and you can just flatten out your coffee filter and paint it just normal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fold mine in half again. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get my paints wet, and you're going to want them really wet, that way they do soak through. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and get them going here. I don't know if you can really see it, but this is how I'm doing it so far. You don't want to go like this and brush it on, you more want to just dab it on because it works a little easier. And if you need to get it a little more wet, you can just dip your paintbrush in to your water. All right. Whoops, I almost knocked my water over. Be careful so you don't do that, guys, because that would have been very bad. All right, so I've almost got my whole coffee filter ready to go here. All right, so this is what it looks like so far. So I'm going to just finish this up here quick. And when you put your paint against the coffee filter, you'll notice that the paint kind of spreads out. That is exactly what we want. And it's because the coffee filter is soaking up the water and the color. All right, so I'm just about done here. And if you wanted to, you could get your coffee filter wet in the spot that you want to paint and then use your paints. That'll help spread it out too. All right, so once you are done with getting your paints on, what you're going to do is you're going to take your coffee filter. So here's my coffee filter, and you're going to open it up very carefully. That way you don't, and I do have a paper towel under here just so that I could have an extra place to lay it. But you want to open it very carefully so you don't end up ripping it. And you'll lay it out to dry. And it should only take a couple minutes. So while we're waiting for them to dry, so here is my coffee filter. While we're waiting for it to dry, what I'm going to do is we are going to read our story. Oh, and you also need your eyeballs because I forgot about those. All right, so we're going to read Stingrays. And this is by Shane McFee. Have you ever seen a stingray? You may have seen one on the beach. Stingrays have a flat body and a thin tail. Sometimes they are called pancake sharks. There are at least 200 different species of stingrays in the world. Stingrays get their name because they have sharp stingers. Their stings can be very painful and even deadly. Do you want to know more about these strange creatures? This book will tell you about the biggest ones and how to escape being stung. Stingrays are a kind of fish called chondrichthyes. Sharks are also chondrichthyes. Sharks and stingrays do not have bones. They have cartilage instead. Cartilage bends like rubber. This allows stingrays and sharks to move quickly in the water. Stingrays and sharks breathe through gills. These are located inside their gill slits. Gill slits look like slots on the bottom of a stingray's body. Most stingrays do not have fins. They have large rounded sides that look like wings. When they swim, it looks like they are flying. Stingrays have eyes on the top of their bodies. Their mouth is on the bottom. This means stingrays cannot always use their eyes to hunt for food. They have a very strong sense of smell. Stingrays also have special organs near their mouth called ampullae of Lorenzi. These organs can sense the electrical charges of other fish. This sense is called electrosense. The stingray's ampullae of Lorenzi help it find animals that are hurt or helpless, which it then can eat. Most stingrays live in tropical ocean waters. Some species even live in fresh water. Stingrays live on the ocean floor because that is where their prey lives. This is why stingrays are called bottom feeders. Some stingrays have coloring that camouflages them. Their camouflage allows stingrays to mix in with the color of the ocean floor and hide them from predators. Many stingrays hide by covering themselves in sand. This makes them a danger to swimmers, who might step on them and get stung. Stingrays are carnivores. This means they live by eating other animals. Stingrays eat smaller fish and crustaceans. Crustaceans are animals that have shells. Crabs, lobsters, and shrimp are crustaceans. Stingrays have very strong teeth, which are able to crush or break up shells. Some stingrays find hidden prey by moving their body. This moves around the sand on the ocean floor. The unlucky animals are uncovered right under the stingray's mouth. Stingrays have very sharp stingers, called spines. The spines grow out of the stingray's tail, the way your fingernails grow out of your hand. Sometimes the spines will break off after the stingray uses them to sting. Stingrays can grow new ones. A stingray's venom is strong to keep it safe from predators. Stingrays use their spines only in defense. The spine injects venom into an animal like a doctor's needle. Stingray attacks are very uncommon. If a stingray is scared, it will usually swim away. Stingray venom is very painful and dangerous to people. Unlike most fish, stingrays do not lay eggs. Females give birth to babies that have grown inside their body. Stingrays usually mate during the winter. The male stingray swims up to the female and bites her to get her attention. Female stingrays usually give birth to a litter of up to 10 babies. The young stingrays usually hide in the water that is not deep until they are big enough to live on their own. The blue-spotted ribbon-tail ray is one of the strangest looking animals in the ocean. Unlike many stingrays, it does not hide with camouflage. It has very colorful blue spots. The rest of the body is usually yellow or brown. The blue-spotted ribbon-tail ray lives in the ocean near Africa, Japan, and Australia. This is a very shy stingray. It will only sting if it feels that it is in danger. The stings from this creature are very painful. Short-tailed stingrays are the largest stingrays in the world. They are so big, they are also called bull rays. Short-tailed rays can grow up to 6 feet across. They can weigh more than 700 pounds. Short-tailed rays usually have 2 stingers. The front one is smaller and does not inject venom. The rear stinger is much larger. The venom of the short-tailed ray is powerful, but it's usually not deadly because most people are stung in the foot. Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter, was killed by an Australian bull ray in 2006. The stinger went through his heart. Whatever you do, leave stingrays alone. Keep in mind, stingrays do not attack unless they are afraid. Even if they are afraid, they will usually swim away. If you are walking in the water on a beach that has stingrays, you should try to drag your feet when you walk. This will kick up sand and scare away stingrays. You will be less likely to step on one. Do not panic if you are stung by a stingray. You should call a doctor and put the wound in hot water. Hot water helps fight the venom until you can get to a doctor. The end. I don't know about you, but I learned a lot about stingrays from this book. All right, so now that our coffee filter has had a little bit of time to dry, what we're going to do, and I'm going to make sure that it's dry here. What we're going to do is I'm going to fold mine in half, just like this. And I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut this one because it's a little more dry. So yours might need to dry a little bit longer. And you're just going to cut it to look like you think a stingray would look. So this is how I think my stingray will look. Then what you can do is you can glue on your tail here. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue. And this is just using the leftover piece from the stingray. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my stingray's eyes on. All right, so here is my completed Stingray. Hopefully yours turns out even better than mine. All right, so that is going to conclude today's week 5 of the summer reading program. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time.